All right. Let us know you can see us and hear us. Since this is definitely the first time you've seen us tonight. Let us know. Let us know. Let us know you can see us and hear us.
All right, coming through on that. We just lost about 150 of you, but that's okay. All right.
Clap into the microphone some more and see if that'll fix it.
Yeah, no doubt.
Oh, my God. All right. Welcome to Hellbent Live. We definitely didn't try this a few minutes ago. This is definitely our first time attempting this today. You see nothing. You forget everything. All right. Welcome to Hellbent Live, our weekly show where we discuss Bigfoot, all things paranormal, weird stuff, ghouls, and have no technical issues whatsoever. My name is Jesse Doyle. This is my partner, tech maestro and lover, Joseph Doyle. All right. So we are back on. We are going to get into some cool stuff today. We do have an announcement to make today on Thursday, February the 5th on Small Town Monsters YouTube channel. They will be launching their Kickstarter campaign to do their Kickstarter for the year for 2026. And that starts Thursday and it goes through the month following that. Part of their launch with that is our first documentary of the year. I mentioned before that we're doing 4 documentaries for Small Town Monsters this year, and it'll be the first of 4 is coming out to their members on Thursday as part of that launch. So if you're a squad member over at Small Town Monsters YouTube channel, you can see our first documentary of the year, Sasquatch of the Sumter, Sasquatch in the Shadows, right there on their page. And it releases, what's going on here? Is that going good?
Yeah. I'm just monitoring the chat. Let me monitor the chat.
I don't know what you're doing.
So let me get the chat.
It launches to the public on Sunday, the 8th. Is 8th correct on that? Sunday?
Think so. Something like that.
So you all
whenever you see it. So yeah.
You all get to see it on Sunday, the 8th. We're really proud of this documentary. It is very long. It is a blitz of a doc. Despite it being an hour and 50 minutes on runtime, it is very rare for this genre. There are no interviews whatsoever. There's no one sitting in a lawn chair giving an interview, not once. In fact, we only sit twice in the entire film. And one time is when we are sitting down eating freeze-dried food out of pouches. And that's only for milliseconds in it. And then we sit down for a few minutes after some really crazy stuff goes down. So we're really excited for you all to see that. We're really proud of it. Joining us on that is our friend and field producer, MK Ultra from Strange Backcountry. And we really did a good job on this, I think. I think it's a lot of fun. It's a no holds barred film. It never stops. It is an adrenaline rush the entire time. And we find such a variety of evidence in this film. I think you guys are going to be really impressed with the work that we put into it. We were out there for over 2 months filming this consistently and going to multiple locations in the Sumter National Forest. What prompted us to go out there in the beginning was a sighting in Newberry County in November of 2024. Some of you may remember this sighting because it set the internet on fire. Okay. And I know a lot of things are getting set on fire these days, but the internet is one of those.
Yeah, baby. Shots fired. Anyway, the Newberry sighting happened, and we've talked about this multiple times on the show before. November 2024.
Yes.
A police officer was hunting in that area and had a fairly close
Class A sighting.
Daylight. He looked at it. It looked at him. They looked at each other. And he was really shaken to his core by what he'd experienced. And he even said in the report that was filed that he didn't want to admit it, but he had to admit it, that he had seen Bigfoot. And that swept the internet like wildfire. A lot of things on fire. And people came from probably all over the country. I know definitely from all over the South. There were like TikTokers there, all these people. People were constantly contacting us going, are you guys going to come and investigate this or go there and investigate this? And we're like, hell no, because they got mobbed. They got overran. People are trying to hunt there. And hunting season got wrecked. A lot of the locals and the residents there were pretty ticked off by all the outside attention. So we gave it a year and then went back around the same time of the, same time, a year later, and investigated it. And, what are the two things, Jesse, that people always complain about with Bigfoot documentaries nowadays?
That there are too many interviews where people are sitting in chairs talking about stuff that happened in the past.
Mm-hmm.
And there's too much AI.
Too much AI. So what is not in this documentary?
There is not a single lawn chair interview, and there's not a scrap of AI used in it.
We didn't interview anybody.
Yeah.
We were going to, it didn't work out. We weren't able to arrange the one. And then we went, you know what? We're not going to do any interviews for this. We know there's activity here. We don't need anybody to tell us there's activity here. Why waste time talking about what we already know? Let's go find it. And that's what we did. So this documentary is going to start with the first day of the field investigation. And this stretched on for a couple of months, like Jesse said, because at first we really struggled to document any activity out there. We knew what was going on, but we just couldn't quite get it.
And we were starting to experience a lot of activity at our base camp, and we just could not seem to capture that. But we just kept hammering at it until things started to happen. Things started to occur, and we started to capture those.
Yeah, and you're always at the mercy of whatever's going on out there. You can't force Bigfoot, high strangeness, something like that to happen. You just can't. I mean, you're at its mercy, and if nothing happens, nothing happens. And that's what we were running into. And we'd had a few things kind of go on, and we were going, gosh, we've experienced some weird stuff, and we've been able to finally document some weird stuff. But, it doesn't have the tension and the excitement of the last big documentary we did, Monster on Morris Mountain. And you know what? We were kind of like at peace with that. We were like, it is what it is. We can only document what we experience. And then we decided to go out one last time.
Yeah.
On the spur of the moment. And MK was kind enough to drop what he was doing. And
it was the day after Christmas.
Day after Christmas. We decided to go out. We got ready. We spent Christmas getting ready, gearing up. And we went out the day after Christmas. And one last shot, Hail Mary, to see if we could maybe just get a little something extra. And that's when the floodgates opened.
Yeah, absolutely.
The literal.
So I'm going to address something right now. TV YouTube stream says private. That was the stream that we tried to start. So this is a whole new stream that we restarted.
Exit out of this. And come back in.
Just if you're on the TV
and come back in.
Yeah, just exit out and then come back in on this one. I deleted that stream, so we're good to go. We're on this, and I even changed the link from the Facebook if you need that link from the Facebook page to do that. All right.
So a couple
what happened?
I have no clue.
What has happened here?
We updated our laptop. It looks like a lot of stuff changed.
The wheels fell off.
Hey, Robert Cook, you remember once before. Thank you for coming back, my man. We appreciate that. We appreciate the support. We are community supported. We are not in the pocket of big corporate Bigfoot. Matter of fact, on the Discord, did you see what I changed my icon to today?
I didn't.
Remember, the Che Guevara?
I was busy today. What did you do?
The Che Guevara face? Oh, I was at work all day long, Jesse.
Oh, were you?
Yeah, I was at work all day long.
I did see that. Yeah, I did see the Che Guevara face.
I changed it to like the Che Guevara face with like the beret and the smarmy little like goatee, but it's like a Bigfoot,
Can goatees be smarmy?
It's a smarmy goatee. So we are not supported by big corporate Bigfoot. We are supported by you beautiful people.
Now, I did wear a communist officer's hat from the early 90s in a photo, and people came at me.
Crazy.
Accusing.
Because your uncle was a spy. He was a spy for somebody.
Well,
I don't know if he was a spy for us against the Soviets or if the Soviets got to him.
there was something
going on
some
there.
chicanery about, but everybody was like, I didn't know you were a communist. I'm like, this is.
Do like modern day communists wear
those
like
hats?
wear like Soviet era?
I don't think so. And I think that hat is from like before the fall of the wall and everything too.
Fall of the wall. Hey, Minerva, thank you for that $10 there.
That's a pre behind the Iron Curtain hat.
We're seizing these super chat means of production. No AI stuff. Thank you, buddy. We appreciate it. Great stuff coming. And it's cool because when you see the promo for this documentary, here's the one thing you have a hard time getting around when you're doing anything like this. Like the only AI you ever really see in like our thumbnails is a Bigfoot, because you know what? There's like
I have a lot of trouble getting good photos of Bigfoot.
Yeah, it's been a difficulty we've ran across. But Jesse didn't even use that for like we went into this going, nothing in the movie itself will be AI at all. And it's pretty cool. Thank you for that, kind sir. So,
and I got creative. I tell the story, I give a brief overview of the story of the Newberry encounter. And I got creative with how I portrayed the Class A sighting in the film, but it's not AI. So
AI.
it is not AI. And everything is boots on the ground. There's no recreations. There's no AI. There's no anything. So it's all just us hitting the brush, running around out there and following where the evidence leads us. I'm super proud of this. I had more footage for this than I did Monster on Morris Mountain.
Yeah, because we just kept, and here's the thing that happens though, man, is that if you're doing, and I understand why people do what they do. I understand, we were talking earlier about a friend of ours that does a Bigfoot podcast, like an interview podcast. And that's got its own set of like difficulties. You have to line up witnesses. They back out. Maybe you get a witness you thought they were going to be great, and it's not that compelling. Blah 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 blah. But with what we do, we're limited in what we can do. Sometimes we go out and spend a lot of time on like a field investigation, a lot of time in the prep work on the investigation itself, and then nothing happens. And then people will go, well, release the footage anyway. And then you just have people going, I wasted my time. This was an hour. Why is there no footage of Bigfoot here?
Yeah.
So, we're really kind of, it's the luck of the draw. And I'll be honest with you, one of the things that kind of worries me about doing this is I always go, what if the last weird thing that we encountered is the last weird thing that we ever encountered?
Yeah. There is that. I mean, that is a real factor you got to think about. And I know a lot of people say Hellbent Holler gets so much evidence, blah blah blah.
Do you know what Hellbent Holler does get a lot of stuff?
Super stickers from Curtis Whitaker.
Yeah, baby. Curtis, don't hurt us. That's what we got going for us. Thank you so much, Curtis.
People will say Hellbent Holler gets so much evidence. Blah,
if we ever, and I don't know if we're ever going to have kids, but if we ever have kids,
I think we're past that point. I'm like almost 40 years old.
Well, with my next younger child bride, if I have a child, and Curtis Whitaker
I had to cover up my grays today. I was drying my hair from coloring my hair.
Curtis keeps this up, we're going to welcome a bouncing baby Curtis Whitaker Doyle into the world.
Curtis
Whitaker,
Conan,
Dale Earnhardt, Conan, Thundar the Barbarian Doyle into the world.
First of his name.
Yes, indeed. So thank you for that, Curtis. We appreciate it, my man. So we'll leave that up there for a little while.
Yeah,
it's a show of our appreciation.
We absolutely will.
Matter of fact, on one live stream, you need to do brought to you by Curtis Whitaker.
Brought to you by Curtis Whitaker. Side note, I am on steroids again.
Jesse is on steroids.
I forgot to mention that.
Yeah.
That I am on steroids again. So let's see how this live stream goes. You'll have a lot of people who say Hellbent Holler seems to get a lot of evidence. We get a lot of nothing as well. We don't put our nothing videos up because think about the fallout of this is boring. Why have you not showed me the Bigfoot? Why are you just
all I want is clear Bigfoot evidence. So
these people just walk around in the woods. Or they do like to hear themselves talk, don't they?
But they the chat is like great. There's just so many like nice little
throw it up there.
The EM50 project. You're just the sort of young go-getters that I want on my EM50 project. But here's the deal. And so far we've done 2 big documentaries. We've done Monster on Morris Mountain and we've done the upcoming Sumter one. Both have run far longer than what we originally anticipated. Yeah. Because both times we were in areas where we knew something was going on.
And we just kept hammering.
We couldn't get it. So we just went, you know what? And you know what? We haven't had as many public releases lately, I know, on the Hellbent Holler channel. But you know what? This was worth it. This is worth it to kind of show that we can take what we do and translate it to like larger format type works. That larger, more visible Bigfoot documentaries don't just have to follow the same formula that they've always followed. And there's nothing wrong with that formula, but we are not the sort of people that follow.
We just want to do something different.
We want to do something cool, man. This is the coolest topic in the world.
Exciting.
Man.
This is such an exciting topic, and it's important to be cerebral about it, to really consider things and do the study that is involved in it, process theories and everything. But honestly, this is a get involved type of subject too, because you can look at old encounters all day long, but there's real encounters happening right now, and you can be a part of that.
While you're here talking about old encounters, there's new encounters out there waiting to happen.
Yeah.
And so and it's cool, and we're lucky that we've came across MK and got him in to like be the field producer portion of it, to kind of go out in the field and kind of assist, because he's down for like us just going, I know we said this is going to be the last week, but we really need a couple more weeks because we know it's there. We know it's happening. We know these things are out there. We're hearing them, but we can't catch it on audio. And we'll talk a little bit about that tonight on why that might be.
Oh my gosh. Here's one.
What's that?
Here's one.
Hey, Brad Cole, thank you for that super
Brad.
sticker, Brad.
I'll just mark this. We'll talk about it in a little bit.
But Brad, you're the man, Brad. You know who also is the man? Our wayward child, William Kennedy, has come back to the fold. William Kennedy has been missing from chat for a while.
I tracked him down.
Jesse tracked his ass down. Called him on the phone to check on him.
And now he's here. I told him, I said, you need to come back to chat. I was worried he had been scooped up by the CIA.
Or the feds got him or something like that. So, yeah. You know,
I was worried he got scooped up by the CIA.
Had him in a black site.
So I had to track him down. So we're glad to have William Kennedy back here.
Welcome home, William. Welcome
I guess
home.
earlier I said strained backcountry. I was in a bit of strain because none of this was working. But I think we're working now. You seen the Sam Burton one? Yeah, that's what I was talking about a second ago. Go ahead.
So our buddy Sam Burton, I was arrested in East Berlin a year before the wall fell. My kids were young and we were held at gunpoint for 2.5 hours. It was a visa issue, but scary. It's like, remember those, was it the, who was the most interesting man in the world beer commercials? What was that?
Dos Equis.
Dos Equis. That's how I imagined Sam Burton to be. Do you know what I'm saying? I imagine when we finally get to get down there and meet him and Ace, that I'm just going to be, it's going to be like, remember when I talked to MK Davis at the conference? And people think what you want to think about MK Davis. The guy's super freaking interesting. It's one of the few people that I've sat and talked to that I've just gone, tell me more, MK. It's going to be like that with Sam.
Yeah.
So I can feel it.
Miranda Cruz says, adopt MK.
Got the paperwork started already, but it's going to be cool. I think you guys are going to enjoy this documentary. It's going to be a little controversial because we present what we experience, and you already know some of the stuff that we've experienced, and it's controversial. But one of the things that we experienced is the metallic door slamming sound. And
yeah, we went into detail about that.
And that kind of, if I've been for the past few months, kind of taken I've been putting a theory forward going, well, nobody's really been able to record that. And I don't think it's really an audible sound. I think it's something that's happening in people's heads. It's something, there's some sort of strange electromagnetic, energy.
And you were 100% convinced of that.
Well, I wasn't 100%, but I was leaning that way. And then it happened, and now I'm just going, yeah, about all that stuff I said, just forget about all that. But you know what? Here's the deal. That's what doing this means, is that you put theories forward, and sometimes you start really getting into a theory because all the evidence lines up for it, and it makes sense. And then you get thrown a curveball, and you have to go back to the drawing board and go, hey, I was wrong. So,
So that is in this documentary that's coming out on Sunday for everybody to check out. I'm so proud of this. I'm so proud of what we did with it, because we were really out there running through the woods. And thank goodness we had Joe as our camera guy. And I mentioned this on my solo show last night. Joe is much larger than us. And
veritable mountain of a man.
Of a man. And Joe's filming, just barely in the movie, because he's just filming the whole time. But and
it's okay, because I don't need to be in the movie, because as long as my friends, my wife look good doing it, I don't really need to be recognized for all of my efforts, or paid even. Apparently that doesn't really need to happen. I don't need to be paid or recognized or lauded. That's okay. I'm fine with all that. That doesn't matter. I'm okay.
Joe's trying to sow dissension amongst the Hellbent Holler ranks, and as Supreme Emperor, I'm encouraging him to kind of slow his roll on that, because you will be put to the sword.
But
I'm on roids right now.
I know
What's
you're
going
on
on here?
So So that's coming out. And then Dark Side Nick wants to know, wondering if there's going to be a Morse Mountain Part 2. We're thinking about that. We're actually going to be out there in like a week, kind of scouting out some other areas. And we would like to do one just because there's ongoing activity there.
I know everybody went crazy with that cliffhanger at the end.
I don't know how we would top the car chase, although we topped the car chase for the Sumter dock.
Yeah, I definitely had a fear of sophomore slump with the Sumter dock, and we knocked it out of the park, and we beat the car chase.
Yeah, we're going up and doing some scouting over the next week, and we are going to. That's something that's on the works for it, man. That's something that's on the works because we like getting out and checking new areas, but you know what we like even more? Documenting possible Bigfoot activity. Yeah. And if we know there's an area with possible Bigfoot activity, we want to document it. So we will see. And
I think I think we gave them just a taste of Uwharrie. You know, we just gave them a taste of Uwharrie, and it was a lot of fun. And I think we're better than ever when it comes to doing field investigations and, recording and presenting that.
Oh, yeah. So people marveling about my humble nature and what a good job I did. And I got the chat well trained here.
Doing great.
Chat well trained. But anyway, so one of the things that we've struggled with we've struggled with it on multiple investigations, but it's been highlighted a great deal, well, in our Blackthorn stuff, but in the docs that are coming out. We ran into it in the Uwharries. We ran into it again in Sumter, is that it's maddening. You hear stuff, and you'll sometimes even see stuff that's indicative of Bigfoot being in the area, but then document. I'm not talking about tracks. Yeah, you see a possible print, you can film it, but I'm talking about like activity, stuff going on. And sometimes you just can't get it. It's very frustrating. And you have to just keep hammering at it. And we talked on, what was it, like 2 weeks ago or so? We talked about some of the patterns that we're starting to develop.
Yeah, we were talking about the emerging pattern that we're starting to see and really start to take notice of in regards to what are the commonalities between these areas that appear to be Bigfoot hotspots. It seems like there's this checklist that is starting to get filled out in each of these locations. And I'm wondering if we can sight unseen take this checklist and apply it to a place we've never been to before. Go there and test this theory that these factors somehow factor into there being Bigfoot encounters or the potential for Bigfoot encounters in these areas. And that's part of that checklist is also a series of behaviors that we've witnessed in which they are able to evade our technology, evade us, evade our ears, and evade pretty much any way we are trying to record them. And that's kind of the topic today.
Stone Maven, $5 to tuck into Eye Candy Joe's back pocket in appreciation.
There you go. We'll give you a $5 bill.
Somebody appreciates me. Followed up by our man, Joseph Cannon. Let's go, Joe. People love me. This is what the people want. The people want, I could probably just do an 8-hour show just by myself.
You probably could.
Just do it and people would love it.
You'd never run out of things to say.
Love it, love it, love it. So,
you wouldn't need me here.
So, but one of the things that we've talked about, and
are you on steroids today? No, did you get into my roids?
Excited, man. I'm having a good time. I'm here. Tuesday night's the highlight of my week. But and you're going to notice, you're going to start to see as this kind of goes along that a lot of these, remember Supernatural, the TV show Supernatural? You probably never watched Supernatural. I know you didn't watch like Buffy or anything.
You know what it is. He knows I'm on steroids. He wants to poke me as much as possible today. That's his nature.
Remember the shows? There would be like the one-off Monster of the Week shows, but then everything else had just kind of a thread that ran through it, like an overarching storyline. That's what you're kind of witnessing right now, is an overarching just kind of thread that's going to go through a lot of our stuff. And a lot of our stuff is going to touch upon this. Is that one of the things that's always bugged me for years about the Bigfoot topic is that everybody just speaks so confidently about things, but then they can't show me how they got there. It's just more words. And I'm going, and what we're starting to show now is that we're not telling you, we're showing you there's a pattern there. We're showing you video and audio evidence that there are patterns that we're starting to identify here. And if you watch the show, you know that I sometimes struggle and I always go, I just don't see how Bigfoot could be an ape. And I still don't see that. I still struggle with that. And to me, it seems like the more I've done this, that Bigfoot is something else and it comes from somewhere else. It's here for a while. It does its thing and then it leaves. And I brought up like a litany of things like that. Like, you know, like where are the bodies? Well, they do this, they do this, whatever. I'd never really had good experience, like good explanations for that. And then when we were out on the UI documentary and we were, you know, with our witnesses that we ran into at that campground where they had seen Bigfoot, they came across dead deer. We go to the area to look to see where basically it was a kill site. Something had been killing deer. And we go there and MK had that great insight that he was going, hey, the way these like logs are situated here and the way that these logs are decomposing and everything like that, you know, you see this on the Appalachian Trail from privies, and it's to help break down biological matter. And that's when we had that eureka moment going, well, if something was wanting to hide its kills or even hide its own dead, this would be the perfect way to do it. It's covered from sight and it's going to break down very quickly. And that was like a real eureka moment for me, because that was like the first real, you've heard people, well, they eat their dead, they bury their dead. That's all just conjecture. We actually had a possible physical clue showing what might be happening with like the Bigfoot bodies. And then you shared, and you need to put that public probably over the next couple of weeks or so.
What?
The scat that we possibly found that had been buried. We found what would look like a footprint, a large humanoid footprint, but it had kicked back pine straw and dirt. And I was thinking, well, it took off at a run. You know how like a runner will kick off? And then Jesse goes, well, wait, it stinks here. There's something under this. And we realized that under the pine straw and the dirt and the leaves and everything like that had been kicked up, it was wet and it looked and smelled like scat. And it was another eureka moment. We're going, is something burying its scat out here? You know, I mean, cats will do this, but this was like a footprint, like a footprint. Bear don't do that. You know, coyotes don't do that. For hogs.
I do have to throw this in here too, just because you're saying don't do that and all that. That's not a deer. Deer don't have hands.
Deer don't have hands. So
deer don't have hands, Joe.
So one of the things that has really kind of struck me over the past several months is that Bigfoot, whatever it is, maybe it is from here, and maybe it's not an ape. It's not an ape, but maybe an ape's the closest thing that we can like.
Or only an approximation.
Yeah, but it doesn't exist in a vacuum, whatever it is. Okay, it's not just doing what it wants to do independently, and we just can't catch it.
With full disregard for humanity, I guess.
It's reactive to the people out there, but to like an insanely detailed degree, into the point where you're almost dealing with something that's whole purpose in life other than just like eating, you know, surviving, breeding, staying hidden. That's like right up there with the rest of the biological imperatives.
That sounds like a great time.
Eating, you know, sleeping, breeding, and then hiding from people.
That sounds awesome.
Damn, all right.
How do I sign up?
So, but you get this thing, and so I've really been looking into this, and there's precedent for this in like the natural world.
Okay.
You know, and let's just say what we're going to do is other animals do this. Animals have practiced this. Animals that don't have the degree of an intelligence that people do.
Yeah.
They do it. And
then beyond people's abilities as well, it seems like.
Yeah. So
it seems like they've got a bit more of a well, I mean, obviously they have more of an understanding of the environment that they're in. And maybe humans had that understanding and we've just forgotten because we've removed ourselves from nature and from the environment so much. Perhaps we would be more in tune with them back there, and we've just, as a species, completely forgotten.
So the study of like animal behavior is called ethology. Okay, that's basically just what animals do and why do they do it and why do they behave the way that they do. And there's usually a reason. There's always a reason for it, And there's a thing called anthropogenic avoidance that wildlife biologists have noticed, and it's where animals have completely changed their natural behaviors in reaction to proximity to people. Okay.
Yeah.
So you will have, and I took some notes because I've been really just consumed with this over the past like 3 days, just kind of looking into this stuff. But you especially see it with primates. You will see primates, gorillas, monkeys, they will completely change their normal routine in reaction to the proximity of people.
Very quickly too, right?
Very quickly. And what's cool is that one of the little things that stood out to me is people that worked in zoos, biologists and even like zookeepers, when COVID hit and they stopped zoo attendance, the animals weren't seeing people that often. Their behavior changed almost overnight.
Yeah.
And then changed almost overnight again once people were allowed back into the zoos at this point.
Well, you got to think this is ingrained in your DNA at this point, that if you are an animal trying to survive, it's adapt or die, and then those who do not adapt to whatever's going on or are capable to turn on a dime and adjust their behavior, those are the ones that don't survive. So that trait and that ability to really change your behavior over very quickly and adapt, that's worked into the equation at this point, pretty hardcore.
So what you get though is that you're getting animals that have good instincts, but not a lot of intelligence. Okay. They're capable of doing this and doing it extremely successfully. So if you took a creature that had human level intelligence, maybe intelligent in different ways, but as far as like overall intelligence level, similar to what we have, but it had the physical capabilities that are more animal-like. They're greater than like a person's. They're greater than what a human could bring to bear. And they know they need to stay hidden at all costs. Maybe they existed alongside of us for millennia.
And maybe there's this knowledge that unless they stay hidden, it's not just cataclysmic for the individual, it's cataclysmic for the species.
Well, maybe
that knowledge is ingrained in each and every one of them as well, is that it's not that you are just, if you find yourself exposed to humanity in any kind of way, that it's not just the end of you, it's the end of all of your bloodline. It's the end of all of your species.
Well, that's what I was going for, is that maybe it's been around and maybe it was more open and it saw that other hominids kind of just fell by the wayside and went away until it was just us and Sasquatch left. And Sasquatch went, I don't want to be next. I need to make avoidance of these other things here, these small hairless things. I need to make avoidance just paramount in my existence. That just needs to be just our main goal. Sleep, eat, breed, but stay away from them.
Yeah.
And, going through and looking at, I took notes on this. I got a Google Doc up, but you start to see some primate behavior that is learned definitely, but it seems to be passed on to other primates in that species, and they adopt it very quickly. And they're very successful at avoiding humanity, but then using the environment, whether it's the natural environment or the man-made environment, to stay hidden at this point. And one of your favorites, cotton top tamarins. Okay.
Yes.
Jesse loves cotton top.
I love cotton top tamarins.
I had to go on a quest to find a cotton top tamarin stuffed animal she had as a kid.
My mom got it for me at a zoo in 1994, and it was they only produced it for 1 year, and it was a little stuffed cotton top tamarind. And Joe, I had lost my stuffed tamarind many years ago. Joe actually tracked me down the last remaining 1994 cotton top tamarind.
So cotton top tamarins, which are small little monkey type things, very cute, they will modify their vocalizations almost to a whisper level to avoid people, especially if people are in proximity. Especially if people are near their habitat, wherever they're staying at, they will lower their vocalizations to
Mhm.
avoid people hearing them. As soon as I read that, that struck me about the fact that in both the Uwharrie and the Sumter, well, three places,
Yeah.
Uwharrie, Sumter, and Blackthorn, we've noticed that something is vocalizing when there's planes overhead.
And this is something that we are noticing recently. We've been doing this for a while. We've been doing field investigations for a while. And this is something that we've noticed in the past couple of years. It was not as prevalent a few years ago, but now, and especially in this region, and we can only speak to what's going on in this region because we operate in the Southern Appalachian region. There wasn't as much air traffic back then as there is now. So with all these people moving to the southeastern United States, there's so much more air traffic. And maybe that increase in air traffic was an opportunity for these things to use that as cover while they're out there. They can still communicate with one another, but it's almost impossible for us to record them at this point because of the audio sample being corrupted by this air traffic. And that's so fascinating to me. I've got another, you can continue on this, but then we do have another thing I want to kind of go into after this, but go ahead.
Well, it's where you mostly see this stuff at is, I lost my dog, I have to go by memory here and probably butcher it, but so you have what's called edge habitat, and it's where two different like habitats basically butt up against each other. It could be the tree line at a power line cut. Okay. It could be, it's basically a boundary between one type of habitat and another.
Yeah.
And generally in an edge habitat, that's where a lot of creatures eat at. Okay. Because usually there's a pretty good variety of flora there. It's, basically it's the tree line, and a lot of Sasquatch are sighted along the tree line, especially at like dawn and dusk. That's a
crepuscular.
Yeah, crepuscular, exactly. They exist during dawn and dusk hours. But
that's your $5 word of the day.
So there are these things called Diana monkeys, and I don't even know what a Diana monkey was. I had to look it up after I came across the reference. But they apparently have a specific.
Oh, that's my drag queen name.
Diana monkey.
Diana monkey.
So they apparently are a popular prey animal for leopards, and they have a specific alarm call that they'll give. It's very loud, very piercing. Well, people have noticed that when there's humans in the area, they go into like a silent mode, basically, that they won't give this if a leopard is near because they're more afraid of the people than they are of the leopard at this point. And I'm like looking at it, and you start going through all of this stuff, like gorillas. There's certain types of gorillas. There's a cross river gorilla. Am I getting that right? Cross river? Yeah, cross river gorilla. They have.
You're going to be an apologist after
I'm
all
telling you.
this.
So
Monkey man knowledge.
They have basically adopted this hyper elusive kind of like behavior. They're extremely wary. They are known to freeze instantly if like people are in the area. This freeze response. And a lot of people will say it's almost like they disappear into the foliage around them. And I'm going, how often do we hear that in Bigfoot reports?
It just disappeared.
It just disappeared.
Yeah.
And I'm going, so I'm doing all this stuff, and I still don't think that Bigfoot's a monkey. I don't know what it is. Okay. But it seems like it has taken what other animals have been observed doing, and it's done it multitudes, it's increased that behavior by multitudes. It's able to do these same behaviors, but with like an intelligence guiding it at this point. And there's just so many like examples for it that I came through. A lot of them are the vocalization portion of it. A lot of it is that they will, even if they haven't seen a person, but they've heard people nearby, they'll completely and instantly modify their vocalizations. And I'm going, all right, well, if an animal knows to do that to avoid people, but now you put a human level of intelligence into it.
Yeah.
And then
or beyond.
And then they're going, every so often we hear some very loud sounds coming from overhead. You know what? We can vocalize while that's going on, and the sound that we make will be partially masked by this. It's using an environmental camouflage at this point. And I'll be honest with you, I didn't know that this was so prevalent in the animal community until we really started to dive into it.
Yeah.
And then I'm going, well, man, if like tamarins are doing it and getting away with it, why would we expect anything different from something as physically capable and obviously intelligent?
In this house, a tamarind can do whatever it wants.
It's true. And I never had it's my Google Doc's gone. I'm just have to go by memory. Barbary monkeys, they will completely change all of their social habits. They reduce their grooming. They don't play with each other as much.
Yeah.
They basically go into just hide in the shadow mode if they know people.
Just go into lockdown, basically.
Yeah, exactly. So they're aware of people. They're aware of the threat that people pose, even if they have never really been threatened or harmed by a person themselves.
Mm-hmm.
If an animal's capable of doing that, something like a Bigfoot is obviously going, and it changes their behavior. It changes their everyday behavior. Humanity's presence changes what they do, how they act, and how they interact with each other.
And it's not just their presence physically there, it's how humans have molded the environment and how the humans have affected this environment.
Well, a lot of animals.
We certainly saw this in the Sumter National Forest. There's so much change in the land. There's so many changes to the land, to the topography that is the result of human interaction with the land, human usage of the land. It goes through sharecropping practices that led to mass erosion, and that happens in a lot of these locations that we find are Bigfoot hotspots. From that, you have an old bombing range out there from World War II. There is a lot of the topography of the land has completely changed in the last 100 years, for sure.
Thank you, Miranda Crew. But you start to look at this, and it's not even the way that they behave individually. Like it was white-bellied spider monkeys, white something spider.
You've had 6 monkeys mentioned tonight.
It's all this primate behavior.
It's crazy.
It's so prevalent with primates.
And I didn't realize that all of this was so prevalent within primates at all. I didn't think that these adaptations were so specific.
Well, you know that like animals will pick up on stuff and they'll change their behavior,
Yeah.
but just the presence. Think of deer, okay? Even during hunting season, deer will like come in your backyard. They'll do whatever, but like the white-bellied spider monkeys, when people are in the area, they change their groupings. They'll normally be in a much larger social grouping. Well, they'll break into smaller subgroups and just basically spread out with, I guess, the assumption that a smaller group will be harder to find, harder to be discovered. And then when people leave the area, they go right back to it. So we're seeing in the Uwaris, there's evidence that would lead you to believe that if Bigfoot is there, they are using items that they find in their environment to help the breakdown of both their kills and possibly their own bodies when they expire.
Right.
It gives them immediate cover, so it's not visible there. It's covered, it's buried, but then the stuff they bury it in breaks them down quicker.
Mm-hmm.
So in case down the road somebody does happen to dig there, there's nothing there anymore. It's been broken down, it's gone. And then we may have found evidence that something with a large human-like foot was scraping pine needles and dirt onto possible scat.
Yes. And
again, we find this in areas where people don't usually just walk into. You know what I'm saying? So maybe they know not to do it at all to anywhere where people normally are. And then maybe it's very rigorously done on those like edge habitats, on those boundaries between where people are and the Bigfoot. They're real good about doing it there. So that just really reinforced our usual theory of get in deep where people don't go to.
Yeah. Go
in deep, get off the beaten path, just pick a spot in the woods and start walking. Maybe they're lazier or they're not so rigorous in their behavior when it's an area where people hardly ever are. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's where they
loosen up a little bit.
Yeah, because again,
they probably loosen protocols because they're capable of doing that, and you can't be on guard forever because that puts you in a panic state at all times, you know.
Oh, I got my one that I highlighted. Titty monkeys. I don't know if that's titty or TT. Let's just call them titty monkeys.
He's having a night tonight.
They have a thing called, well, here, listen to this. This jumped out at me. They have a thing called squirrel hiding. And I don't know if that's just what somebody called it, because I found that fairly late in the research.
It sounds like something I invented.
Well, rather than fleeing when they think that they've been observed, they circle back to the behind of a tree and hide and freeze behind a tree.
Okay.
What do
they do after that? They to check that the coast is clear, huh?
Well, they move. I'm gonna have to read this. They move in sync with a human observer to keep the tree trunk between them and the human at all times.
Wow!
Titty monkeys.
This is documented observed behavior.
Well, you know, I think I'm gonna go back to school and get my doctorate in titty monkeyology. Do you know what I'm saying? So
you've already got the bachelor's degree in it.
There we go. Sure. So, well, you know, post-grad work's important. But it is, and I'm just going through all of my notes here at all.
Hope goes, what kind of monkeys? Surviving the Strange goes, new shirt idea.
Well, you know, mandrills are very aggressive a lot of times. And apparently in a lot of areas, their aggressive behavior will change. That's something that a lot of like wildlife biologists thought was just instinctive, that it was, but they will change that. They will become, all of a sudden that aggression fades away when there's people around.
Mm-hmm.
And now they predominantly try to hide at that point. And I thought that was very important. You know, you get an aggressive dog, that dog's just aggressive, and it's going to be aggressive whether there's one person or 20 people there. The dog's just going to attack. Well, these primates won't, you know, they go, this is a battle I can't win. They're smart enough to recognize that. And if they're smart enough to recognize that, then Sasquatch is obviously got to be, I mean, obviously it's smart enough to recognize it. But I'm looking at this going, you know, when new information comes along, and not everybody knows everything, but
take it into consideration.
You got to take into consideration, man, that
add it in.
That all of a sudden the idea that small populations of something out there, maybe it could stay hidden. Where's the body? Well, maybe they're really good. And
where are the bones, Joe?
They have a disposal method that they have developed over time. And
where's
they
the
know
poop, Joe?
They hide it. They cover it. They cover it. And how many people just go digging through random, like, you know, things of pine needles? And when you're walking through the woods, if you're a hunter or a hiker and you smell a scat sound, they're not you. They don't just start crawling around on their hands and feet until they find it. You know,
slither around on my belly, seeking out the
But
Bigfoots.
One of the other things that I saw too is that monkeys that usually operate mostly in the daytime, when people come into their area, they just on a dime switch to being nocturnal.
I myself am a night monkey.
You are a night monkey. The night critters. But
Night critters.
the one good one that I saw from mountain gorillas.
I feel like we gotta have like a monkey species bingo card.
Well, mountain gorillas will practice like
Diana, Titty, Mountain.
A vocal masking. They will cover their mouths and suppress their vocalizations if they smell a human nearby. So they are purposefully muffling their vocalizations if they smell a human nearby.
Mm-hmm.
Well, now let's ramp that intelligence up like 1 billion times. And now all of a sudden, maybe they're doing that. And then maybe they also know when there's a plane going by overhead.
Mm-hmm.
We get a lot of reports around old like railroad tracks, you know, where the tracks just cut through like a wildlife management area or like a state forest or something like that, you know, on the boundary of it, or even just a really rural area. Maybe they know that they can use the sound of trains going by to cover their vocalizations. And I don't know. I mean, it's starting to really kind of unfold that the stuff that we've heard people just casually kind of throw out without doing any research on it or really even thinking it through. Maybe there's something to some of this.
Now, and I have no theory on this or anything like this, but when you mention planes, you mentioned trains, planes, trains, and automobiles. there is, and I don't know where this fits into the whole thing. There is a level of infrasound that comes off of those modes of transportation. There is a significant amount of infrasound that comes off of those. Could that be a part of something in this puzzle?
Well, let's go to elephants, because elephants use infrasound, but they use it to communicate, just like every other animal uses it to communicate. None of them use it defensively or offensively. You know, elephants were one of the animals I came across because, you know, we know elephants are smart. Remember that story about that elephant killing that guy and then going into his funeral and basically wrecking the coffin because he knew that's who was in that coffin?
It was a woman.
Was it a woman? Okay.
In India.
Well, in some areas, they have learned to raid crops at night. They watch, and they watch for like the watchmen on these fields to fall asleep. Then they go in. Elephants sneak in while the watchmen are asleep and raid the crops and then sneak back out. If an elephant is intelligent enough to do that and can be stealthy enough to do that, well, then why are we shocked that Bigfoot's capable of doing that? But as far as the infrasound thing that you do, we've deployed our infrasound detector.
Yes.
We were one of the few people to take this seriously enough to actually invest in an infrasound detector. The only time we have really gotten anomalous infrasound, it was timed perfectly with two of those vocalizations we were hearing in the distance on that live stream we were doing.
Yes.
From Laurel Creek.
Yes.
Where the couple, whether we still don't know if they were telling us the truth or not, reported that it was making that rattlesnake bumblebee sound and put the horses definitely, and more than likely them, and they didn't realize it, into some sort of like state, like, you know, like a torporous state. They were like just drugged almost, you know. And we did it on a live stream. We heard two vocalizations and I got corresponding infrasound spikes. So
Stitch Witch is in here. Hey, Miss Stitch.
Hey, Stitch Witch.
Howdy.
If Dewey is next to you, tell Dewey hello and we love him. So Cryptid Castleberry chimes in with my cat Roxanne would steal food off the table when you weren't looking. So we know animals do this, but I didn't know that it was.
Now there is backup here to your train concept. It's Central Kentucky Bigfoot, the artist formerly known as Central Florida Bigfoot. I agree with the train concept. We thought that in Florida for a long time now. So that's an observable activity that's happening in.
Well, we're seeing it with planes, and you know, a person who's had a lot of experience with Bigfoot vocalizations and audio related to Bigfoot is Julie Wrench up in North Carolina.
Yes.
And I asked her, have you ever seen that? And she goes, oh, all the time. It's been a struggle to sometimes isolate. And I even mentioned in our Discord one night, I have got some, what to our ears sounded like very interesting audio, but I can't separate the airplane noise out without distorting the audio.
Yeah.
And it sounds weird, but it's not a good representation of what we heard.
So Booberry has something here that has given me something of an idea. And this just popped into my head, infrasound generator time.
I've looked at it. When you see your buddy Zach Bagans and their infrasound generator.
Why is he my buddy all of a sudden? Did you steal my steroids?
So
you are in a day. You're in a mood.
It's difficult. It's not difficult. You just need specialized equipment to detect infrasound.
So I'm just going to throw this thing out there. It's an experiment perhaps down the road that we might look at. So say that they are sensing. Now they would sense, if they can sense infrasound in some kind of way. Say they sense the plane is about to go overhead because they feel that infrasound or sense it before it happens, and they anticipate that's the time in which we can vocalize. If we produced our own infrasound and they sense that, would they vocalize? And as soon as they vocalize, we kill it, and then there we've got an unbridled vocalization because we don't have to wait for the plane to go by. We're producing that sound that they think it's safe to go ahead, vocalize, and as soon as we hear the vocalization, boom, we kill it. And we get the recording.
Yeah, it's actually a good idea.
Thank you. Look at me. I've got one.
Damn. All right. Wow. All right.
I got one. I can retire.
Anybody got a calendar to put that down on? But
what is wrong with you today?
So,
what have I done?
So anyway, well, here's the thing, though, is that there have to be a lot of very specialized biological adaptations in order to be able to hear infrasound or sense infrasound. Okay. Your skull has to be a particular density in certain areas. You have to really be designed for it. Okay. And who's to say? We don't really have a lot of Bigfoot skulls to like examine, so we don't know. There are a couple of like plans available. you can do it very expensively. You can generate infrasound, or you can do it cheaply, but it's real big. It'd have to be vehicle mounted, basically. Okay. But we could do it. We could conceivably.
I think we can.
I ain't doing it right now, but we could conceivably.
And then test my
What we
plan.
need to do is when Dewey gets tired, when the Dooster gets tired of ham radio and he circles back to the paranormal,
infrasound.
Dewey would be a perfect resource for this to like bounce ideas off of, because you could get.
Because you know what he's going to do. Well, I don't know, Joe. Yeah.
Let me think about it for a little while.
I don't know, Joe. Yeah.
And then a week later, well, I got that infrasound generator that we were talking about done. But
now you see here, if you crank it up to here, it's going to kill everybody in the room.
Yeah. and Scorpius, because the subwoofers is the way I was looking at it. And I don't know if like the old powered subwoofers would be powerful enough, but you know what? Who would know? You would know, Scorp.
We could.
Maybe that's something to kind of bend your brain to if you want to.
And we could also maybe try that and then run our detector and see if there's if it produces enough for a market difference. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So we
definitely.
can test our own infrasound generation stuff that we kind of put together. Rick Skinner
For
the visual aid fund.
Rick, we're down to that last jar of salsa, my man.
He wants some titty monkey visual aids is what he wants. That's what he's looking for.
That's what the monkeys refer. And then our buddy Port PCX. The mimic octopus not only changes its colors to match its surroundings, but actively changes its shape to mimic other predators. And you know, the octopus is the one thing that people usually think of as far as like being adaptive. So much so that people say that,
it's an alien.
That it's an alien, that it's so damn adaptive. I didn't know that there were so many specialized.
Oh, Booberry, thank you, my friend, standing up for me. You can go back to Pork Chop in a second. How's your buddy Nick Groff, Joe? Yeah.
So anyway.
All right. No, go back to this.
There's a last thing I want to say as far as like the animal adaptation is, and this was really cool, is that chimpanzees, like just regular chimps, all these other weird monkey names,
Run
like
to the mill
titty
chimp.
no titty monkey here, just chimps. They have this thing that researchers have called traffic vigilance, and it's where there's like a road crossing their habitat. They'll have one monkey, they'll have one chimp kind of watching in secrecy for a vehicle to come. And then when the vehicle passes by, it gets the rest of the monkeys and they go. But they literally have observed chimpanzees looking both ways on a road and then motioning other chimpanzees to come across. And I'm going, if you start to look at these, the freezing and disappearing into the foliage, you always hear about roadside crossings. Okay. People see Bigfoot from their vehicles crossing the road. And that's never made sense to me before. But now I'm going, maybe there were more of them crossing there. Maybe there was a family unit or like a pod, you know, a grouping of them crossing, and you just happened to see the last one.
Are you calling a group of Bigfoot a pod?
Well, just, you know.
Like dolphins?
I hate the whole clan thing.
I don't like
the alpha of the clan.
Pod's good.
But
a pod. I don't know. I don't like
maybe
it.
You're seeing the last one and it's getting the other ones out there, and you're seeing it because you were going to see one of them and it's getting the weaker or the slower ones in. I don't know. It's kind of going into this, and this is not something you really hear a lot of Bigfoot researchers talk about.
Mm-hmm.
You hear the normal stuff, but you don't really start looking at like specifics where you can go, well, Bigfoot does this. Well, there's another primate out there that's been observed doing this, maybe on a slightly lesser level, but the observation is there. It's happening. Okay. There's a precedent set. It's not impossible all of a sudden. And then what seems impossible, maybe it's possible when you add in that greater level of intelligence. Mm-hmm. And you also add in how unobservant and loud people are in the forest.
Yes. Yeah. I talked about this last night on the stream week that MK and I did that during the filming of the Sumter. Yes. You see, I marked all those so you can see how the people are with me now. Mm-hmm. Uh-huh. Yeah. Lady Wolf, you traitor.
Anyway, thank you, Lady Wolf. Lady Wolf, best damn mod in the business.
Well, they think they're not the only brain in this house.
Best damn mod in the business.
It's the roids. I will tell you though. What Works This Works did give me a good suggestion here. I marked that. I want you to write that down for me, sinus calm, because my notepad's gone. All I had was this elf shot before me, and I can't make notes with it. So write this down about sinus
Check
calm.
out the titty monkey.
Stop showing me titty monkeys.
Anyway.
We're on a live stream, Joseph.
Okay. Anyway, go ahead.
When we were doing the Subternational Forest thing, our base camp was at this little rinky-dink little campground area that is in the middle of the forest. And pretty much the entire time we were there, we were the only people in that area, except for one night. One night, people camped near us. And it was a man and a woman. And the woman had gotten into the wine, I guess. She'd gotten into a box of wine. And we're trying to be out there quietly and monitor what's going on, eat our food and be quiet before we got to go back out on a night jaunt. And she's just just going off. And we're like, we wouldn't be able to hear if anything was happening right now. And this is why people are in camping or going out into the woods and like, I'm out in the woods all the time. I never hear anything. I never see anything. That's because you're drinking box wine and you're babbling like a titty monkey.
Yeah. And when we were at Morris Mountain that night, and we heard, it was us, the witness that originally, the guy that had the audio that started the entire Morris Mountain investigation, MK, me and Jesse, we start hearing fairly damn close by, very obviously not coyote vocalizations. And there were 2 or 3 other groups of campers out there around their fire. None of them paid a bit of attention to it at all. Nobody stopped and looked up. They just sat there and kept on with their conversations around their campfire. Yeah. They never paid. The ability of the human mind to just interpret external stimuli and dismiss it. Well, I mean, that's technically a survival feature. If you get overwhelmed by all this external stimuli, the human brain's really good at going, I need to interpret this immediately in order to stay. That's way over there. I don't care. They just dismissed it as a coyote. And I'm sure that's what they did, if they even heard it at all. Meanwhile, we're all 4 going, oh my God, that's not coyotes. And that happens all the time, man. The hunter one is my favorite one. I've been hunting these woods for 20 years and I've never seen anything. And I go, because you've probably been going to the same spot. From your vehicle to your tree stand. And then as soon as you get there, you're like 6 beers in. And then,
I see where your dip cans are. I know where you go.
I know where you go to. But
I've seen where your dip cans are left. Because I have to pick them up. Gross.
But I just think that this is the sort of dialogue that we need to have, because it drives me freaking crazy. It drives me crazy. It's why I hate going to like Bigfoot conferences, because people will just stand there and just very convincingly and confidently just spin stuff. And I want to go, tell me how you know this. Well, show me. You obviously like attention. You're speaking about this.
He's not talking about people who attend conferences. We love.
Oh, I love people who attend conferences. That's like the only reason. Matter of fact, I told that to
clarify your ire, Joseph.
My ire. It's like, and I'm going. We haven't had the experiences that a lot of people claim.
We're killing Matt.
We haven't had a Class A Bigfoot sighting since we've started doing Hellbent Holler. Other people are claiming them on like a weekly basis, and I'm going, you never thought to film that? But what I'm saying is that this is what we need, we need documentation, and then we need cross-referencing with other biological sciences, cross-reference it with other animal behavior that makes sense. Okay. Oh
my gosh. We've got a mystery solved. The cackling box wine woman of the campground. That was William Kennedy's ex-wife. We haven't had ex-wife talk in a long time here.
We haven't had the ex-wife. But it is, good Lord, they're still going about lawn chair, and Sue does not like them either. So, yeah, you guys rein it back in there, you heathens. But this is the sort of stuff that because it helps you when you start getting these theories, like with us going, are we crazy, or does it seem like these vocalizations happen when planes go by overhead? But then you go and you see that there's a parallel with other primates, and you go, well, damn, maybe that is what's going on. Now this reinforces my my belief in it, the possibility that that's what we're experiencing. And now we'll really redouble our efforts to try to prove that that's happening. And I think that at least in those 3 areas at this point, we've filmed it. We've documented it. We show that either it's used something out there that is unidentified is making vocalizations, and it's doing it when planes are going by overhead. So maybe it's the sound of the plane riling it up, but you don't hear it with every plane.
Mm.
That's why I think that they wait and they use it for cover. I think they use it for cover. So, all right, let's see what else we got in this chat here.
Hellbender's reeling in. Oh, I don't know if that's happening on this show. Joe started this.
Where did I start?
You started all of this with your
Surviving the Strange goes. You haven't had a class
with your
A
risque monkey talk.
You haven't had a Class A sighting, but have you tried Bigfooting with box wine? So that's going to be the Hellbent Holler after dark. So anyway, maybe we need to start a Rumble channel. You know what I'm saying?
Oh my God. Surviving the Strange just had a firework go off in his brain. Finally, they've listened to me.
All right, let's see what else we got here. So anyway, and Central Kentucky, Bigfoot, one of the people that I think is like one of the more serious, well-grounded, well-thought-out people doing this. And
not right now. He's been playing this drinking game this whole time.
Yeah, he's been drinking since he's probably like, 10 shots in. Planes were involved in his audio too. So anyway, so while we're here, all right, so Cynthia's got a good one. If a helicopter goes by, is the activity similar to when a plane goes by? We don't see helicopter traffic to the degree. So what's happened is that the South has had a lot of like people move to it. And a lot of people move down here and they're able to do stuff that they couldn't do in their previous places that they lived at, either because of economic reasons or whatever. But the like small private planes have just, I can't say exploded down here. Sound like the Taliban. Sound like the Taliban. I'll get Homeland Security. We're burning down forests, blowing up planes.
Yeah.
But there's
this is the Hellbent Holler Sleeper Cell edition is what it is.
There's a lot more
where to sleep no longer.
Single engine private airplane like traffic down here than there was previous to
Let's
COVID.
get all this out of the way right now too. Knife check too, since we're talking about our sleeper cell.
So, but we don't hear helicopters out as often. Now, there are places that there's a lot of helicopter traffic, and now that we go into it, when we go back to the LBL in a few months, well, we will see. I'm carrying a Cold Steel Immortal. It's a pretty small knife for me.
Immortal.
But it's
that's pretty sweet.
That is pretty sweet.
That's a little mini gladius there, my boy.
It's got like a gladius style blade. It's pretty rad. It's got like a steel pommel like insert, but it is as far as small knives go, it's pretty rad. I don't carry it that often because I like big knives. That was one of my favorite things about us on Reddit, though, by the way, is how insecure I was. Remember the night we did the knife check? And
I had a giant knife.
And I had a little knife.
You just changed the white balance with that knife.
Did I really?
Yeah.
That's how bad ass my knife is.
Wait, here it's coming back. Now we're back.
All right.
Wow.
All right.
Look at that.
Look at that.
That knife is so shiny. It's so big.
Mhm.
Changes the white balance of the show. I have a Spyderco. There's do my spider drop right there. Got a little Spyderco there. The color on those scales is blurple. You can kind of see it. Put it next to my hair. It's almost the exact same color as my hair. Look at that. It's that purplish blue. But I have my sweet little, teeny little, itty bitty Spyderco with a little acid wash blade right there. But gotta have a little Spyderco on you. I haven't carried that in a long time.
Mm-hmm.
But I do have a nice little collection of a couple of these little practical Spydercos that I like to carry.
Michael wants to know if we ever paid attention to the moon phase. Yeah, and what's weird is that you see patterns in certain areas, but it's not across the board. There are some areas, the Grove, for example, when we were going to the place called the Grove, we wouldn't really ever get anything with like a new moon, like a full moon. A new moon is when you would get stuff.
Yeah, because we were like, all right, it's full moon. We're going to get it.
I think we maybe like one time we heard something, but the rest of the time when you go there on a new moon, that's when it seemed to be active.
Mm-hmm.
But there's patterns. They're just not consistent across the board. And you wonder why. Are you dealing with different things? Are you dealing with, again, we just have been discussing all night long, like learned behavior that sometimes varies from spot to spot. Maybe that's what we're dealing with, but yeah, we've seen it in some areas. And to be honest with you, in some areas, it doesn't seem like the moon has any effect at all. So
Wow, this is a piece of knife lore that we just did not know. Ancient samurai blacksmith would judge their blade's quality by whether or not it would auto-adjust the white balance.
True story.
Confirmed.
Well, what works? This works. This will buy Jesse Sinus Calm.
You says what works. The name here is what works. This works. I trust that. I'm buying. I need sinus calm. I have a sinus infection. That's why I had to be put on an aggressive round of steroids in a Z-Pack. So that's why today's my first day on my roids. So I have the heaviest dose today. So it's all somewhere from here. Downhill,
It's
uphill.
all going downhill.
It's all downhill from here. I'm doing okay. I've not raged out quite yet.
No.
You never know.
We're leaving this show with just as many feuds as we went into it with. So that's always a good thing.
Out here or in here?
Everywhere.
Everywhere.
So Lady Wolf says, if you enjoy this content, if you enjoy this content, you want to become a member, why don't you? For the price of for cheaper than what you would spend on a fast food like meal, you can support a couple of intrepid cryptid hunters.
You know, I don't eat fast food a lot, but I do like a McRib when they come
You do
around.
like a McRib.
Hey, any of you McRib people, and I know this is a side jaunt, but this is very important. McRibs are important to McRib people. I understand. If you don't understand that, don't listen. QT has a rib sandwich that is pretty darn close. It's across from where you check out in the refrigerated area. Get yourself a QT McRib when the hankering strikes.
When the hankering strikes.
And that concludes our McRib discussion of the day.
Couple things that I checked earlier here.
Thank you. What works? This works. I am going to get some sinus calm. I'll probably pick some up tomorrow because I gotta get this thing.
Had asked earlier, Russell Matthews asked earlier, any new thermal instrumentation? No, I've had a thermal imager picked out that I want to move to for about the better part of a year now, but other things have come up. We work within a budget. Whatever money we have left over from our regular jobs goes into Hellbent Holler. What money we have come in from memberships and super chats and whatnot. We don't do sponsorships on the channel. We don't do a lot of clickbaity, crazy stuff to get like millions of YouTube views. I don't even know if that's possible, like Bigfoot stuff nowadays. But
Jesse's bikini Bigfoot hunt.
Jesse's bikini, and I would get, there you go. Boy, I imagine the fan mail after that one. But there's a thermal imager I've got. I would like to say I'm getting it this year, but depending on how many cameras we break over the next few months. And
because we have an insane shooting schedule over the next few months. We've got 3 more major documentaries for the year. And then we have some hardcore crazy stuff with Blackthorn going on. So we are shooting more than ever before, and we're burning through batteries.
This was from earlier, Zero Shift 5000. I have a renewed interest in the feral people or satanic cult activity, even though it's super dangerous. The feral people thing, I don't think there's like literal like cavemen out there that you're dealing with. I think in some more isolated areas in the South, you might have families that have just retreated back, and you've got maybe people who lack in social niceties and who don't have social security numbers or birth certificates, and they've never been to a doctor, and they barely, that sort of stuff. I don't think there's like caveman type stuff going on. Could be wrong. I don't know. There is cult activity that takes place in the national forests, and we're not the only ones who've experienced it.
Yeah.
But matter of fact, one area that we were like really into, we kind of pulled out of that area because of the activity that goes on up there.
It got too close for comfort.
And if I always say this, if we're out and we're attacked by a Bigfoot and we pull out our 10 millimeters and unload upon it, and we, at the end of it, have a Bigfoot body, there ain't no downside to that for the kid here. We're on the Tonight Show at that point, we're doing like on the Wheaties boxes and everything like that.
They don't have a lot of these things you're making reference to.
Well, Johnny Carson will have us on.
Johnny Carson will have us there. Yes,
indeed.
of course.
We'll
probably get a large check from Ed McMahon. He'll show up.
Big paper ones.
He'll show up and give us a large check. I do believe it.
But
do you think we could film it in Technicolor?
If we back to my point here, if we have a run-in like that with people that are up to cult activity, there's real world consequences for that, no matter how it plays out. So you have to know when to pick your battles there. So We're coming up on the end of it here, folks.
Yeah. Michael said the Whitakers. That's what at first, when Joe was talking about the feral people, the Whitakers of West Virginia. Yeah.
And so my grandmother was from like a small town in West Virginia that doesn't even exist anymore because the buildings are still there, but I think there were like 5 people last time I checked there. But and the hills and hollers up there, you could tell, even like as far as like just sheer, like as the crow flies distance, it's not that far, but you could tell just by the dialect from people where they were from. And you had people that maybe you only saw like once a year, and that there would be children there that you didn't even know about. You know what I'm saying? That like, because they've never been to town. And what happens if the adults die and these kids are there and they've been told stay away from people? Yeah, I think you might have like little pockets like that, like, unsocialized people, but as far as like just giant breeding populations in caves, I can see that with Bigfoot maybe, because Bigfoot would be hardier and hailer, but people are, you're dealing with people like abilities. I just don't see how that would do. But then again, I'm going to back up a little bit. Say one of them died, wouldn't you just think that it was like maybe a homeless person or something like that, or maybe somebody who got lost? And I don't know. We've never really experienced like homeless, like with feral people before like that.
We've definitely experienced homeless people. I was about to say, I saw a homeless guy in our local town with a deer skull duct taped to his head.
That's feral
walking
people.
Down the street. So that's pretty close to feral.
Just carry you 27 months, man. OG Hellbender. We appreciate it. So we appreciate it. What else we got here? Hey, Cornbread's in here. Cornbread shot you haven't seen it yet, shot a cool like promo thing for us earlier. I'll show it to you when we get out of here.
Please do.
Yeah.
He mentioned it. I'm excited. Yeah, listen, and I want you all, if you're a squad member on STM, you'll be able to see our documentary on Thursday come out on their channel. But if you're not a member over there, it'll come out Sunday. And
we'll probably be in the chat on Sunday.
Yeah,
that's when the Hellbender Nation will like show up and like be in the chat.
Yeah, and we'll make posts about it as soon as they get that up for us to share the event and everything. It's probably going to be 2 p.m. That's when they usually do it, right? 2 p.m. on Sunday. We'll let y'all know. Watch our post. If you're a member, go into the Discord. You'll have it there. You guys will know about it. And then we're going to start promoting all that this week. Now, I did make a trailer. I made a trailer for this film as well. That should be coming out on Thursday. So look for that to go wide and far on Thursday. I'll be sharing that around so you can. How good's my trailer?
Trailer's pretty friggin' awesome, to be honest with you.
Now, you guys remember the opening of Morris Mountain? How good is the opening of this one?
Yeah.
Do you think I'm the greatest director that has ever entered into the Bigfoot or paranormal
and the
space?
most humble too? Do you know what I'm saying? That's
you know what? We could toot your horn all day long, and then I ask for just a minuscule amount of acknowledgement.
Well, when I do it, it's tasteful. It's a little gauche when you do it. So anyway, but the big thing is come watch it in the chat. Experience in real time. People telling us that we walk too loud in the woods. Why are they walking on these leaves? Are just too loud. Shaking my head. I can't watch this. Anyway,
let me stay on this round of steroids, and we'll see how loud you get when I show those leaves.
Lord Almighty, nobody's ever gonna.
What?
So, all right.
Okay.
We are gonna wrap it up, y'all.
Oh, in case you were wondering, I'm making chili dogs.
We're gonna have some chili dogs.
It's chili dog night.
So, we're gonna be out scouting this weekend and whatnot. We'll see what happens with it, but we're moving on to the next big thing here. The snow and ice kind of set us back a little bit. That was 2 weeks that we really didn't get much done. Whoa.
Vincent's got one here. STM Hellbent and then the Puppy Bolt. That's a day. Because Sunday is we're not allowed to say that word, are we? The big game.
Probably not. The big game.
We showed some commercials one time and we got a copyright strike because we showed some
bananas,
like, Illuminati alien commercials. But yeah, yes, that is a good use for the day. So watch our movie early in the day before you go into your wings and things. Watch Sasquatch of the Sumter. It's going to be a blast. You guys are going to love it. It's going to be so much fun. Make sure you come into the chat and support Hellbent Holler. I want to see a big showing from the Hellbenders on that premiere on Sunday. We're going to be there, and we're super stoked about you guys checking this out. And there are no hints and there are no spoilers about the final sequence. But it gets banana town. I'm going to tell you that. But we're super excited. We're excited for you guys to see the variety of evidence that we got. We got a lot of stuff. It goes beyond footprints.
Thank you, Miranda.
Thank you, Miranda.
But we went into it going, there's no way we're going to be able to like outdo. We had the only Bigfoot documentary with a car chase. And we were going, there's literally nothing that we're going to be able to encounter or experience or anything like that that's going to outdo that. And we're just going to have to accept it. But then the final investigation, I think what we experienced,
it tops the car chase.
It tops the car chase.
See, everybody's telling you to be nice to me.
I'm
Poor
being
Jesse.
nice to you. So anyway, all right, y'all.
All right, I'm gonna go whip up some.
Way to show up late, Alan Lasseter.
Yeah, no, he's been in here because.
Oh, he has. Okay,
he's been in here. He asked if we got snow. We did get snow.
All right,
it's about melted now. Thank goodness. Chili dogs and roids. Oh boy.
All right, guys, we're wrapping up. Sorry about the difficulties earlier.
I think we recovered okay.
I think we did all right. I think we did okay. I think we did good. So, all right.
I think you did a great job, Joe.
I think you did an amazing job, Jesse.
Thank you. That's all I ever wanted. Good night, everybody. I'm going to cry and make chili dogs. Off what?